Beyond this door, right now, in central Portugal, lurks 40-degree heat. It is toasty out here. You can see my bananas don't look happy. They need to water soon. And I am not happy either out there. But in here, life is good. It's cool. I have a fan. And the stone house keeps everything nice and cold. So I've been working indoors as much as possible. And I'm excited to get started on a job that I've been both looking forward to and dreading simultaneously. I'm going to start working on the feature wall of my kitchen. What's a feature wall, I hear you ask? Well, let me show you. It's this. So, this middle part where you see the stones, those stones are going to stay exposed. And it's going to be home to some shelves that go across this way towards the bottom. Some kind of nice window that I haven't designed yet. And then there's going to be some kind of metal grate situation happening that goes across where I can hang stuff onto it. I don't have a fully fleshed out idea yet, which is probably why I'm a little bit apprehensive about the whole thing. Perhaps I should wait until I do before I start to point, but I'm eager to crack on, and I have this little bit of lime left that is in the way, and it's just getting all crusty because the weather is so hot that it's really hard to keep it hydrated. So I really need to use it so it doesn't go to waste. So I'm going to use it here, and then hopefully I can figure out the rest along the way. And then out here I've got a beautiful piece of wood. And again, I don't exactly know what I want to do with it, but I have a rough idea. I'd like to keep this live edge. I think it looks really cool. And yeah, just have sort of smallish shelves sticking out of the wall so that they're not too obtrusive, but they'll hold things like spices and stuff that I use a lot. But first things first, I'm gonna get on the ladder, go up there, and get some wood. Success. So first things first, I'm going to cut some lengths of wood. So I want something that kind of goes like this, and I'll chop it off kind of more to size. I'll cut it to be much more narrow, and then the ends will kind of be curved in, and then the line will be built around it, and then I'm left with a nice live edge. I'll take the bark off, but yeah, more or less, that's my idea. That was weirdly satisfying. Now, time for a bit of choppy choppy, sandy sandy, and then I'll see what this wood looks like. I've made these cuts. They're not my final cuts. It'll go deeper than that, if that makes sense. So right now it's a little shallow, just so I can see what's happening in against the wall. And then I'll adjust as I need to. And now it is siesta time because it's insanely hot outside, and I don't want to go outside anymore to do carpentry work out there. I'm not ready to get started in here, so I'm going to have a little snooze, put the fan right on my face, and I'll come back to this either tomorrow morning or later in the evening. So I've had a second wind. I just woke up from my siesta. I feel good, and I'm going to get started on this feature wall behind me doing the pointing. I love pointing. I find it very meditative, very therapeutic, very relaxing. You do have to balance that with the fact that the lime is very corrosive and bad for your skin and can burn you. So you don't want to get too comfortable with this substance. Even though it is very nice and soft, it'll mess you up. It'll mess you up if you leave it on your skin. So I should be wearing sort of rubber gloves and stuff, but I'm just a bit careful, and I wash it off if it gets on me. And it really has to be on you for quite a while for it to do any damage anyway, so it's not that big of a deal, at least not for me. And so I'm going to get started, but first, I spray. Okay, done. Next, chair scaffolding. Done. Okay, time to start pointing. I'm excited. These are definitely not the right tools for the trade, but it works for me, so that's what I use. This guy is the trowel, not so much. Still have a massive amount of lime left, but I've stuck a good amount of it up on the wall already. So I just need to spray it, keep it wet, or at least sort of just so it doesn't dry out. I'm gonna clean up all this crap down here. I've got to wipe off stuff on the wood. It'll just be easier to do it now. And then there's a couple more steps. It's pretty messy looking there, but the other steps tidy everything up and make it look really nice. Or hopefully it does. This brush is a tool that somebody who's a stonemason taught me about. And basically what this does is pushes the lime more into the cracks and gets rid of the stuff on the edges. You have to do this at the exact right moment, or if it's too wet, it'll just kind of stick and go everywhere. And if it's too dry, then the crusty stuff will remain. So I'm gonna give it a little wacky wacky and see what it does. So I think you can see the difference between the wacky wacky and the other one. In theory, after I whack it, this stuff should be gone, which it looks like it is. So, and now is when I go over it with a brush. I'm using a dry brush. I can probably get away with wetting it a little bit. It just smooths it all out. And then tomorrow, well, and then I'll spray it. And tomorrow I'll check for cracks and do any repairs I need to do. So I guess this is what I have in my future this evening. It's almost 10 o'clock. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I got a little bit carried away, I think, with the pointing. It's really easy to get into the zone. I lost track of time, and then when I went down to look at my trees, they were not happy, especially the avocados. So I had to give them a massive soak, which takes time because, of course, I still don't have the irrigation set up. But it's all good. No complaints. I'm gonna whack this, gonna have some dinner, and then tomorrow I'm excited to see what it looks like and carry on. I've only done about half, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this job done and moving on to the shelf part of the job, and then putting stuff on the shelves will be very exciting as well. So I'll say goodnight. I'm gonna hang out with this guy and the paintbrush, and then I'll see you in the morning. So it's day 2, and you can maybe see there's like white bits along the edges of the rocks. I don't want that there. Looks bad. I don't really remember if I try to scrape it off while it's dry or if I wet the whole thing down first. So I'm gonna scrape it with a brush, see what happens, and then I need to keep this wet all day today anyway, so it doesn't cure too quickly and then crack. But before I spray it, I'm gonna try to get this dusty stuff off. So my kitchen has basically looked like this for over a week now. This shelf has been situated right here in the middle of the kitchen because I've been intending on working on this corner. I want to put the lime up on the wall, and I want to finish off the pointing down here on this wall. But this morning is the morning that I get it done because I cannot stand living like this anymore. And I want to put a shelf back in here, pack some things away, and try to live sort of like a normal person for a little while, at least. I also have a big bucket of lime outside that I'm going to use in this section. And basically we've been in a heat wave, so it's been too hot to do anything. And so I've just been topping them up with water continually and living amongst clutter. But this morning, I'm going to get this stuff done. I've had a few folks leave comments saying that they like it when I talk about the tools that I use. So I thought I would, as I use my tools, as I work through them, yeah, just give little commentaries on what I like about them. This guy is a paddle drill. It's basically just used for mixing stuff up, and I probably use it most often out of all of my power tools. My circular saw I use quite a bit. Obviously my drill and my impact driver. And then this guy. I don't really know why this one has an attachment like this. It's got this sort of flat looking thing. Whereas a lot of other ones I've seen, they kind of, you hold them like this, and then they've got more of a swirly attachment on the end. I think you can put whatever attachment you want on these things, but this one's more like a gun, and it's got this sort of flat thing. I don't know. All I know is that I love it. It works really well. It mixes things up amazingly. It's got 2 settings. It's got like a low gear one to really get into sort of the dry areas of a mix. and then you crank it up to full speed and it just whizzes everything around, and it's really awesome. So I'm a fan. I'm really happy I got this thing. I don't actually mind mixing stuff by hand like concrete and things, but with the lime putty, it's kind of this sort of sticky substance, and it makes it really difficult to mix by hand. So having a tool to do it is definitely essential, in my opinion. And I'm not crazy about the idea of having a cement mixer. I think it would work on my solar system, but first of all, I have to buy one or borrow one, and then I have to have someplace to store it. And they're just bulky and noisy and annoying to clean. And I just find that this, for what I need it for the amount of lime that I actually do mix, and for the pace that I work at, because I'm just one person, the paddle drill is perfect. So I'm a big fan, and I'm gonna put it to good use right now. I've got this bucket of lime that's basically been sitting here outside since the beginning of this insane heat wave, and I just keep topping it up with water, mixing it up, and I'm just doing the same today. So it hasn't solidified into one giant hunk of lime, which is a good sign. So I'll give it another mix, and I'm hoping today, before it gets too hot, I'll be able to put it on the wall. Yeah, it's definitely kind of getting crusty and then getting mixed up again and then getting crusty and getting mixed up again. So I don't know if that's ideal. So I really want to just use this today. But it depends on how hot it gets. Yeah, that's much better. So that'll do, and even if I don't get to use that mix today, at least it'll live to see another day because it's been rehydrated. So yeah, it's 8 a.m. I think, and it's still a little cool outside, so I'm gonna try to do an hour of work, and then I'm gonna take it easy for the rest of the day. So it's not ideal to be working with lime in these hot conditions. I think it doesn't like the heat when it's curing. I'm going to be really vigilant about making sure it's continuously sprayed because I just want to get it done. Okay, so I have added the lime into the bottom part, and I'll let it dry a bit before I start to smooth things out. All I'm trying to do today is use up the lime that's in that bucket so that it doesn't turn super crusty. And so I just want to get it on the wall. And so I'm not going to focus too much on making it perfect. I'm just going to put the product on the wall, build up the wall sort of as much as I can, and then make it all nice on the next pass. this dry a little bit and then tackle it with this guy. And then over here I've just been piling the lime on the wall, and now I need to stick some crisscrossy bits on so that the next layer will stick more easily. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep crissy-crossying, technical term, and then all I have to do is keep this thing sprayed. I don't want it drying out, it'll crack, which doesn't matter so much for this, but I don't want any cracks showing in the wall behind me, so I shall be manning the spray bottle continually and keeping this damp. So I've just had a little splash around in like 10 centimeters of water in my cistern, and now I'm gonna drink some electrolytes, sit in my hammock, and try not to die. Living the dream. So I made it to the hammock. I'm still alive, as you can see, but barely. This heat wave has been brutal, and even though I was working inside today, it was pretty tough. But I'm really happy with the progress. I'm gonna cut the video short here because it's getting long. My videos seem to be stretching into like 35 to 40 minutes these days, and that seems a little long to me. If you like them longer, let me know. If you prefer 20-minute range, I'd also be curious to hear. It's easy to get carried away. And I do seem to film a lot and do a lot of editing, so it just adds up and I end up with long videos. And even this is long. I keep blabbing on about nothing really. So I'm gonna say goodbye. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I will see you in the next video.